Good evening, guys. Welcome to the Talking Pigskin Week 11 edition. As always, I'm your host, the Great Kishwar. Last week, I had 11 right out of the 14 games that were played. Feel pretty damn good about it. Much better than the week 7 and 8, I would say, where I only had a few right. Definitely didn't enjoy seeing the Jets lose. That was not something I wanted to watch on Sunday. It was one of the worst games I've seen in the year. Definitely had a bad feeling right before kickoff that something just didn't add up, even though I picked the Jets to win. But of course, they didn't show up to play. And as a Jet fan, you expect these things. They're the most opportune time they will let you down. And sure enough, they did. But it's okay. At least that ends all the playoff talk. At least in New York City, we won't have to worry about that anymore. Sure, freaky things happen in an NFL season. Things could change, but I don't expect any of that to happen for the Jets. But they will be in bye week this week, so I don't have to say much about them. Let's jump into the Week 11 picks, and the first game we have is tomorrow night, where the Tennessee Titans will take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a very good game on paper. However, I just don't think Tennessee can travel well again on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers because that team is solely built on home success. The defense shows up to play at home. The offense just does enough at home to win with the help of Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray. Marcus Mariota is a very good quarterback, but just that besides Rashard Matthews, none of the other receiving core really does help him out. I just don't think they will be able to do much against the Steelers, where their defense is a little banged up, but the Steelers' offense is actually going to be locked and ready to go. Even though they struggle with the Colts, I just don't think Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Big Ben Roethlisberger will struggle tomorrow night. I think Steelers will win this one easily. Moving on to Sunday's games, and the very first game we have is the Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears. Now, Bears with Mitch Trubisky, as we said in previous weeks, that they look inspired. They actually look like they want to play for him, unlike when they had Jay Cutler last year. As for the Lions, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones they are becoming a great wide receiving threat to rest of the league. Stafford is having a great season with them, and I am expecting him to continue that this week as well. The Lions' defense isn't that great, but that offense is clicking. Mitchell Trubisky is looking all right on offense, but he has ways to go before he becomes a prominent quarterback. I'll pick the Lions on the road. Moving on to Baltimore Ravens coming off the bye week to traveling to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. This is a very tricky game to pick, and I'm going to pick the Packers. Yes, it's a shocker, but I don't expect Joe Flacco to do much. It's sad. A Super Bowl winning quarterback who got paid right after that game back in 2013, I believe. He hasn't lived up to that contract or into that Super Bowl season. He just hasn't been good. Flacco usually does well. He doesn't do anything to make the Ravens lose a game, but lately he has been doing that. As for the Packers, Brett Hundley looked all right last week. Keep in mind, Packers fans, there is a shot Aaron Rodgers can be back in December, but it's a very long shot. But if somehow Packers can stay relevant by the time December rolls around, you never know. Rodgers might decide to come back and take the reins from Hundley. But as for Sunday's game, I'm going to go with Hundley over Flacco, and Packers will win that game. Moving on to Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Cleveland Browns. Just when you think the Browns almost had a game last week, of course, with that whole sequence of play that transpired in end of second quarter, it just horrible. I mean, that's on Hugh Jackson. You can never call a QB sneak from the 2-yard line when the clock's ticking. The clock wasn't stopped at all, so I don't know what the hell they were thinking on their end. As far as Jaguars, they're looking very good. We're gonna find out if this defense will travel well outside of Jacksonville. Blake Bortles lost the game for them almost, but thankfully that defense held the Chargers in check. Then they were able to pull it out at the end. But Bortles, man, he needs to get it together. He has been pretty bad. So Jaguars easily against the Browns. Moving on to Arizona Cardinals taking on the Houston Texans. We have Blaine Gabbert versus Tom Savage or whoever you want to throw in for the Texans. It's just not working out since Savage left. Even though DeAndre Hopkins has been great. The rest of the team hasn't helped him out. or build Tom Savage at all. The defense has been all right with the loss of Watt and Cushing. They haven't fell apart yet, but against Blaine Gabbert, you would like to think they will, do well, especially with AP and Larry Fitzgerald not being 100%. We'll see what happens, but at home against a mediocre team like the Cardinals, I expect the Texans to pull this one out. Moving on to a very good game, the LA Rams taking on the Minnesota Vikings, both 7-2 teams. Jared Goff and Case Keenum, they should be in the discussions for MVP and even comeback player of the year. Because remember, last year we all discarded Jared Goff as a bust, and Case Keenum was. Isn't that ironic? Case Keenum was starting for the Rams last year, and now he gets to face them. And we'll see. They're the two of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, which is so weird, but it is what it is. The Viking defense will be shut and ready to go at home. We'll have to see if Rams will do the same. In a very close game, I'm going to pick the Vikings only because they're home and the defense is a little better than the Rams defense. Moving on to the Redskins taking on the Saints. The Saints are 7-2, winners of 7 straight. They don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Whereas the Redskins, I know I did pick them to win last week, but Kirk Cousins just can't do it himself. He needs a good team around him to bail him out at all times. I don't think going to the Dome and trying to upset Drew Brees will be something the Redskins will be up to task for. I'm going to go with the Saints. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs coming off the bye week to take on the New York Giants. This should be a blowout. This should be a no-brainer. This should be my lock of the week. The Kansas City Chiefs will dismantle the New York Giants in a really bad way. Maybe, only maybe, Wellington Mara will consider to fire Ben McAdoo after the game, but I don't see that happening. They want him to finish out the season. The Giants are just so hapless. They're an uninspiring bunch. They don't do anything. Janoris Jenkins last week, I don't know what the hell he was doing on the field. As for the Chiefs, coming off the bye week, Kareem Hunt needs to get it going. Sorry, that was my bell. Kareem Hunt needs to get it going. I think he will bounce back. Alex Smith, after a week off, should be good to go. And let's see. I think the Chiefs will turn it around. Moving on to Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Miami Dolphins, the Jay Cutler Dolphins. Don't need to say much about that. They're going to lose easily, even though they're favored to win. I guess I can pick the Bucs as an upset in this game, even with Ryan Fitzpatrick starting. They will get Mike Evans back. They didn't do much on offense against the Jets last week, but the defense showed up to play, and I'm expecting that once more time. Moving on to the Buffalo Bills, taking on the LA Chargers. This is a 4 o'clock game. Nate Peterman is starting. Not sure exactly why, if Tyrod Taylor is injured or if this was a benching from the coaching staff. Yeah, I don't think he's going to keep up with Phillip Rivers and company. Please, Phillip Rivers, Keenan Allen, they need to turn their season around. 3-6, they need to win this game, and I expect them to win it. Chargers all over the Bills. Moving on to Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Denver Broncos. Dalton and Osweiler. I usually advantage Dalton, but in Mile High, after getting embarrassed by the Patriot offense, I think Denver defense will show up to play. Like I said before the season, Dalton does not have his O-line, and he has been struggling all year round, and I think that will continue in Denver. The defense should be up and ready to go. I picked the Broncos to win that game. Shocker, I know Brock Osweiler is the quarterback, but, sometimes you got to pick a scrub to win a game, right? Moving on to New England Patriots at Oakland Raiders. Well, I should say at Mexico in Estadio Azteca, an NFL international game. It's a Raider home game. They should be able to pull this one out. I just can't pick them only because they should not be, what's their record? 4-5. The Raiders had all the preseason hype coming into the season. They should have been one of the favorites in AFC. However, with the Derek Carr injury back in a few weeks ago, that kind of derailed their season. I do want them to turn it around. I just don't think against this buzzsaw New England team that's coming to town, going to Mexico to play them, I don't think they'll be up to task, and I think Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the crew will take care of this, and they'll easily win this game. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, we have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Cowboys. Without Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott didn't have much help. He actually got sacked 6 times last week. The O-line that was once vaunted O-line now is actually a turnstile on the left tackle. They got to get it together in Dallas. The receiving core needs to come out and play. Zeke will be out for the next 5 games, so they need to help out Dak on offense. As for the Eagles coming off the bye week, you have to take the hat off to Doug Peterson and the coaching staff. Carson Wentz has been an amazing quarterback this year. He's in the MVP discussion as he should be. The receiving core has been helping him out as well. The defense hasn't had any flashy play. They just come up with crucial stops, and that actually helps out in most cases. Not in fantasy, because then the yardage pile against you can backfire, but turnovers always count. So Eagles on the road. Moving on to Monday Night Football, we have the Falcons and Seahawks. The Falcons had a very good game against the Cowboys, but going to CenturyLink on a Monday night game against the Seahawks will be hard. Even though Richard Sherman's out for the season, I think Seahawks offense is becoming slowly lethal this season, with Russell Wilson averaging almost 2 or 3 touchdowns a game. As far as Jimmy Graham, he finally woke up. He did not get off to a good start, but now he's starting to come around. Falcon offense, Julio Jones needs to get more touchdowns. He only has 1 this year. That needs to change. Falcon offense is good. I don't think Falcon defense will be able to contain Russell Wilson and company, so I'm picking the Seahawks on the road. So there you have it. My lock of the week is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and my upset of the week is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow, 2 Florida teams. As always, like, subscribe, comment, pass the video along. Let me know what you think of these picks. Just a quick note, I will be on the road for the next 2 weeks. I will be in Dallas next Wednesday and LA next following Wednesday. I will try to get these videos out. If I can't do it, I will see you guys after Thanksgiving. But other than that, hope you guys enjoy these picks, and good night.